Hi and welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the Oncostele Wildcat. This is the Yellow King. At least that is what she was sold to me as. In my research, I also saw the Oncostele referred to as Colmanara. So I'm assuming that they're interchangeable. However, I didn't really find where it was interchangeable, but some places did refer to it as a Colmanara. So if you have a Colmanara, it might be an Oncostele. And also in looking up her parentage, kind of see how to take care of her, because with the O in there, I assume there would be some Ondontoglossum, and boy is it. So the Oncostele is a cross between Ondontonia, which is the Miltonia, crossed with Ondontoglossum. And then that is crossed with Ondonocidium, Ondonocidium. I'll post down here somewhere. But that is a cross between Oncidium and Ondontoglossum. Most of her parentage is Ondontoglossum. So I did a little more digging, of course got down the rabbit hole, and Ondontoglossums are cooler growers than our average Oncidium type, which this is an Oncidium type orchid. So I have been keeping her, I think, in the right place, because where she sits is the coolest part of the living room. And they like bright light, so she's getting that from the east facing window, in addition to there's also a grow light that grows on her. And they like to be potted. Okay, here I got conflicting information. Some sources, the American Orchid Society suggests repotting them in the spring or when they outgrow their current pot. Other sources state that you should repot them in the fall and winter time, during the cooler time of the year, to help them recover from the repot. So taking all that, I was looking at my lovely lady here, and as we can see, we have two new growths right here and here. And even if the bulbs on these two are half the size of this, or even a quarter the size of this, they're going to be growing outside of the pot. I mean, they're literally sitting on the edge of the pot right now. In addition, the two new growths here, okay, this one is already starting to develop its bulb. I can feel it swelling, and if I turn it to the side, you can kind of see the bulge right there. And then this one is not going to be short behind that one. I also saw on some sites that you should repot when the growth is halfway mature, which this one I'm going to assume is halfway mature, because all of the leaves have been matured and she's working on her bulb. Again, this one is definitely going to grow out of the pot. She's already kind of popping out of the pot there. And this one here, again, even if it just gets halfway the size, will grow out of the pot. I also read that you should repot if, once you are watering, if the water is not running freely through the pot, because they do like a well-draining media. They do like frequent watering, and she is an all moss, and I feel like it's very compacted, because when I do water her, most of the time if I have something that's an all moss, I don't water from the top to keep it from compacting. I just set it in the water to about halfway of the pot, let the water absorb some, and then, you know, take it out, let it finish doing its thing. This one, I left it in a pot of water, or bowl of water, whatever you want to call it, for about 20 minutes. Took it out, put my little bamboo skewer in there, and the bamboo skewer was only wet to where the water line was. With all of that in consideration, I feel like I need to go ahead and repot her. We have a growth that is at least halfway or close to halfway. We have 4 new growths, and they are growing off of 2 different pseudobulbs, so technically we have 4 directions of growth here. She's definitely growing out of this pot. The water is not draining through, so the media is not well draining. So while I get everything set up, I hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday so far. I know it's not the official holiday, but at the beginning of December, everyone says Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas. And for those of you who celebrate Hanukkah, I hope you guys have a great Hanukkah. If you've not subscribed yet, go ahead. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps my channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave any comments down below of your thoughts on this, or throughout the video, if I touch on something and I don't make a complete thought on it, go ahead. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below, or if you want to just email me your question, my email is in the description. So I am squeezing the pot, and I just realized I did not bring anything to put her in. So let me go grab something to put this in when I take her out. Be right back. Okay, now we can do something. Let me grab some coffee real quick. Guys, for those of you who drink coffee, my daughter bought one of those little foamer things that you just kind of squeeze the top and the little bzzz, because I always heat my creamer up before I make my coffee. And I do that now and it foams up, and oh my goodness, it changes the whole taste of the coffee. I know. Side note, let's get back to the Orchid. So I'm going to take the tag out because I've already made her a tag because obviously she's not staying in this pot. What I am going to do is I'm not cleaning her up all the way. For those of you who've watched videos of mine in the past, especially repot videos, will know that generally I will go in and I will take everything out and clean all the roots and all that stuff. Actually, all I'm going to do is I am going to take some of this moss and I am going to loosen it just because it is so compacted in there. And I'm hoping it's compacted because there's a lot of roots. But the main thing I want to get off is this top layer of the moss that has all that algae on it. And then any roots that I can see that are not viable, I'll cut off. But I'm not going to go in like I normally do and handle each root and take it out. And I'm not doing that. I'm just, whatever she has that I can see, I will take care of. But anything else, I'm just going to leave it because I feel like that'll be less disturbance for her and set her up for the best success. Because I don't want to lose any of these new growths. If I'm very gentle and careful, I will get blooms, hopefully, off of the next 4 growths. And again, normally I would take off seedling bulbs and that kind of thing. I'm leaving whatever is not directly in the way, I'm leaving it on there. And I'm using a bamboo skewer as much as possible, again, to do as little damage to these roots as possible, because I don't want to grab a root thinking it is moss. And I do want to kind of loosen the moss around these roots to kind of encourage the roots to spread. Sort of like you do a house plant when you first get it. You'll kind of loosen the soil around the root system so that the roots feel free and not stuck. At least that is the theory. So leave your comments below if you feel like I'm doing this correctly, or if this is something you would do, or if you would do it differently. Let me know what you would have done differently. But either way it goes, I'm doing it, so it's not like I can undo it, right? And again, anything that just kind of naturally will fall out, I'm leaving it and letting it fall out. I'm not forcing anything. I just want to loosen some of this around the root system to encourage the root system to continue to extend. From what I can see, it is a branching root system. As you can see right here, this root right here is branching out. And I have been letting her kind of almost dry out between waterings, because again, I did read that they do like a little bit of a dry out in between waterings, but I'm not letting her dry completely. I'm kind of doing her like I do my other Oncidiums. Just as it approaches dryness, I am watering her. Like I said, because she is in moss, I was watering her from the bottom. And I think that is all we are going to do. So what I'm doing now is I'm just poking the skewer into the mass here in the middle, just kind of creating some looseness in the center as well. And then I do see a couple of roots that can probably come off. So let's let those air a little bit. But if they're not right on the outside, I'm not going deep in. I do see where she is starting to absorb this leaf right here. Roots are trying to grow out, look. Do you see that root right there trying to grow out, and it can't grow in because that leaf is in the way? I will. Let me set her down gently, and I'm just going to take this leaf off so that new roots can go down into the pot. And the way I do that is some people just take the whole leaf off as one. I'll split it in 2 and take it off on either side. And it seems to have worked for me in the past. Does not want to work for me on this one. And it's because the leaf is not really ready to come off, but those roots are not able to go down into the media. And I want all the roots I can right now. So now any new roots have a chance to get down in there. All right, and that opened it up so I can kind of see some more algae there. Okay, and then I'll clean any sheaths I can see off as well, just to make sure. And there's lots of new root growth coming right here off of this pseudobulb here. And this one here has roots going up, but I think it's just because they couldn't get down into the media because it was just so tight. Now, hopefully, we can get some roots in there. So that is all we're going to do. I mean, like I said, I am going to cut off the roots that I can see aren't any good, but I'm not going to go looking for them. If I see them, I'll cut them off. That is all we are going to do to her, outside of spraying with some hydrogen peroxide to mainly kill the algae on top, and then seal any of the cuts that I might have made. And then we are going to choose a pot, which is also going to be outside of what I would normally do. For those of you who have seen previous repot videos, you will understand in just a minute what I'm talking about. So let me just let her sit right there for a second, clean this stuff up, and we will get our pots and see what we're going to do. We have two pots to choose from. We have this 7-inch pot, and we have this 9-inch pot to choose from. Ideally, one would think we would put it in here, because this, look at all, let me see if I can hold her without crushing her. Let's see. We'll hold her right there, kind of like that. If you look, maybe, there's lots and lots of growth, right? So that's at least a year, 2 years worth of growth. However, reading, again, doing my research this time, they do like to be underpotted. So by using this pot, it will allow the foregrowth to develop and mature and grow one more bulb in here. So she'll be able to sit in here for at least 2 years, and then we can up pot her again, or divide her, or whatever decide to do once that time comes. So I am going to put her in this smaller pot. Even if I have to repot her again next year, I will just continue to do it the way that I've been doing. And I am potting her in sphagnum moss and small fir bark. Again, this is just the reptile fir bark that you can get at your pet shop. Put some moss at the bottom, leaving my air cone open to allow for airflow. All right, I'll be back. So I do want to position her so that the growths that are going to mature have room to mature. So I think I'm going to set her more into the middle, just to give it a little, not in the middle, but away from there, not as close like I would normally do, just to allow for that to grow. All right, well, there she is, and as you can see, she's not wobbly in the pot at all, and I believe that's because I did not disturb the media that she was already in, that sphagnum moss, and it was very compact, but I did loosen it, and then with the skewer, I just went underneath to make sure that the media went up underneath where we loosened it, and that there's not a lot of air pockets, unlike our big rooted phals, Phalaenopsis, Cattleya, that kind of thing, some Dendrobiums. They do like a lot of air pockets. Oncidium types tend to like not tight media, but they don't like those big air gaps. And I did double check around the edge to make sure that there were no air gaps. And all 4 of our new growths are right on, the media is right up at them, so that their new roots have somewhere to go. And like I said, hopefully I don't lose the bloom, but I took into consideration all the different things that I did read about this lovely lady, and I had more things going on than just new growth. Otherwise, I would have waited till spring, but then again, it said, you know, with the cooler temperatures, they tend to bounce back from a repot a little bit better. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that the scrolls were right on this one and that we don't lose anything and that she doesn't miss a beat, just like our Princess Scary and the, which one is it? The Orange Kiss. That, guys, you can see the spike now. It's amazing. I'll do a video, an update on that. But just in case we do lose the blooms, let's just look at her one more time. And I will hold them still so you can see. Isn't that just lovely? And then when I was showing her in an earlier video, the lip right here, it looks like there's a man just kind of keeping guard. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but that's what it looks like to me. Like just a little guy standing guard, waiting for the bugs to come. There she is. She's not fragrant, but she is gorgeous. And like I said, this is a branch from the original spike, so she must be pretty vigorous in that way, but we shall see. This growth here is the one that I'm going to watch the closest, just because the repot, if it's going to affect any of them, it's going to affect this one first because it is starting to develop that bulb. These two here I feel like are young enough that they'll bounce back from the repot. And then this one here should be okay too. And I'm really confident that she's not going to be set back from this, simply because I did not disturb the roots that much. I kind of treated her like a zygopetalum and just took off like the outer layer, see what I could see, and just used the same media because it wasn't going over. Like, it didn't smell or anything. It wasn't algae all the way down. It was still very fresh looking, fresh smelling. So I decided to go ahead and keep that on there. Hopefully I did the right thing. Again, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I hope everyone is having a wonderful time preparing for the season. Just remember, if you are going to get together with family and if there's going to be elderly people, especially those with already health problems, be considerate and wear a mask. Even if you don't wear a mask as a general rule, just wear a mask and protect them, especially if you're in the public a lot. Like, I work in the medical field, so I'm around the public all the time. I wear a mask all the time, even though at one point here in Denver it wasn't required anymore, but now they've since changed that where you have to wear a mask in public places. I wear a mask all the time just because I am in the public so much and deal with the public so much. I don't want to bring that home to my family. All right, guys. Well, I hope, again, you are having a great and safe day. Leave your comments below. Give the video a like. Subscribe if you don't mind. And we'll see you on the next one.